Hi guys, welcome back to Brewery Made. Today in this episode we're going to be making a folding bar. And if you remember, I did make an actual bar, a little mini bar in a previous video. Um, One of the problems with that bar, it's very big and people don't have a lot of space and it's taken a while to shift. So it's taken a lot of space up in my house currently. There is someone interested in it though. They'll be coming at the end of the month, so hopefully that solves everything. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, if the only thing is space, but everyone wants it, let's make something that takes up less space but has the same purpose. So we're going to be making a folding bar that you can pull out of your wall and do your drinks and stuff on there. So I ain't got a clue what I'm doing, but stick around and we'll find out together. And here is what we're going to be making it out of. As you can see, we have a lot of this red oak here that I stripped down from a unit. If you want to find out more information about stripping down units and getting free nice hardwoods, I'll link a video up there somewhere. I do have a lot more of this oak up here as well, so we have plenty of room for mistakes. But this is what I'm hoping we can just use. Let's get into it. Let's start on the actual top first, where people are going to be setting drinks and stuff. I feel like that's going to be the easiest. So the first thing I'm going to do, because with the first bar project, as we all learned, once you start cutting these planks that I have, they seem to be a little bit unstable and want to bend in a certain way. And because these aren't loads of little planks glued up together, it's all one cross section from a tree. Uh, when it wants to bend, it will really bend. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting out some, what would you call this? Like a mortise and tenon sort of joint? I don't know. Either way, we're doing breadboard ends to make sure the board stays flat across. Um, and thankfully, this time I had so much better luck with it. It went right first try. If you saw my charcuterie board video, I'll link it up there. I went through absolute hell trying to get the breadboard ends to work, but I made these a slightly tight fit, but I made sure to give enough clearance for them to nicely slide on. And it ended up being a seamless glue up and it all snapped together perfectly. I put everything in the clamps just to double make sure everything was good. But yeah, I haven't. That's the second time I've ever done these breadboard ends, and it worked out perfectly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be actually cutting out the planks that we need to make the backboard sort of storage area. I wouldn't know what to call it really, but we're basically making the sides of the box where it's going to actually fit into the wall where you will be storing your drinks and stuff like that, as the other stuff is all drying up. So what I'm doing here, just went and got the square edge on each one, and I marked off a line to come back and get it all done. And if you can tell in this little time lapse, I'm using a bit of wood to slow down the blade. Don't be stupid, don't be me. I'm a professional idiot, so keep yourself safe. And talking about keeping yourself safe, I kept throwing around these bits of wood with my angle grinder attachment sander thing, so I had to quickly nail down some little strips of wood just to hold everything in place, just because you couldn't really tell in the time lapse, but as soon as I was touching it, these pieces were so small, it was just grabbing it and throwing it. So this was sort of a necessity, and I think I'm in need of some dust collection. As you can see, it's very, very dusty. But yeah, I wanted to sand the pieces first because once we get it all glued up together, it's going to be very hard to sand into those corners. So I figured I'd give it a nice sanding, mark off all the places that I'm going to be gluing with masking tape, and then I can just peel the tape off after everything's glued in together and, well, have a perfect joint and not have glue everywhere. And if you cast your mind back to the free wood series where we got nice free oak off Facebook Marketplace, I told you not to throw away all the little bits of oak and stuff that come with it. And this is a perfect example of why you shouldn't do that. These I didn't have to make. All I had to do was give it a little bit of a sanding and use the exact same screws that came with it, just for a little bit of reinforcement on these corners and to provide an anchor point to where we can attach it to the wall. I actually just drilled a hole through those and put it on the wall with roll plugs, and it holds on perfectly fine. And there's a rare occasion of me using hand tools. I absolutely hate using hand tools, but I couldn't figure an easy way to get those nice and flat, so I had to bust the planer out and do that. Then I got a hacksaw, chopped off one side, and straightened the edges up on the table saw. Probably not the best way to do it, but I got everything nice, flat and level, square, parallel, every single word under the book. So it worked for me, but there's probably a better technique out there to do it all with. So yeah, finally got everything down to size. The table part of it, the table, would you call it a table? The shelf table thing, whatever you'd want to call this. Uh, some reason came out suspiciously well. I had no problems, and if you're a watcher of this channel, you know I run into many problems. So this was a really pleasant surprise for me. This build went together really easily, and I'm wondering when is it going to go wrong, when's something going to happen, but unfortunately nothing happened. So sorry viewers, there's not going to be any effing and blinding and fixing mistakes in this video since everything went together perfectly. So now we have the skeleton and everything all nicely sanded. Time to give it a little lick of oil, and this is where this wood's beauty really shines. This is red oak, I believe, and because it's nice big planks, you can see a lot more of the grain. And oh, I don't know, I'm really like this wood, and I was a little bit reluctant to use it on this project, but I'm glad I did because I wanted to save it. But realistically, I've got to use it at some point, so yeah. As a person that works with mostly pallets and pine, it's a real nice treat to work with oak, and I was loving every minute of it. And I think this project came out really well. And with using these oak and stuff like that, I can just use my hard wax oil, which not only is very easy to apply, and I don't have to wait days on end while I'm putting bits of lacquer on, sanding, bits of lacquer, sanding. I can just whack it all on, do a couple of coats of it, and it's all sweet. So it was a really nice, easy project to get through, and well, I really like doing this project. And I also have this hinge, very big hinge from a cabinet I took apart ages ago. Again, if we refer back to the video where I got free wood, and I tell you to keep and collect all these bits, they all come in handy down the line. All this took was a little bit of sandpaper and it looked brand new again. And then I had some brass screws that I had laying around, and I just used them to put them all in. Now, I was a little bit worried about the holding power of these screws because they don't stick out that much, but there's so many of them. I'm guessing overall it was just strong enough anyway. But yeah, it's coming out really nice. But the issue we have now is that there's no way to stop it from flinging all the way down. So not only we need to find a way to keep it closed, but we need to find a way to keep the door open at a perfect 90-degree angle so drinks don't spill and stuff. But first of all, we're going to tackle the closing issue. I have this little magnet thing, which, as you can guess, I got it from a cabinet that I took apart for free. I keep hold of all the hardware. It came in handy here as well. And I was struggling to line everything up here, and then I realized there's no back on it, so I can just put it on and mark it out there, come back and screw it in. Now, if I was going to go back and do this again, say if I was doing this for a customer, I probably would have routed that part out and got a router so it'd sit flush, because as you can see there's a very small gap where the things meet right in that corner, which isn't brilliant, but this is for me, so I don't mind it too much. But if I was doing it for a customer, I would have got a router and quickly recessed it in so it was flush with the actual top, so everything would match up correctly. And here's another bit of hardware I got from a free unit. I'm getting a lot of things for free in this video, and I'm using up a lot of me stock that I'm keeping, but I accidentally drilled the holes too far apart. Don't know how I managed that after marking it out and doing all that stuff, but I just got the drill sort of widened the holes a little bit and it went together perfectly. Now we need to tackle the issue of keeping the drawer at not the drawer, the shelf at a perfect 90-degree angle. So what I did is I got a square, marked out where it's not perfect 90 degrees, cut the chain roughly to length.
Where the fuck have they made this chain from? There we go. Thank you now.
Probably should have found a better tool than using a pair of pliers, but we managed to get through it in the end and we cut the chain to length. I'm just going to use some short screws to hold these in place. I was going to use washers and all that stuff, but it looked a lot better if I just used the screws by itself. I'm gonna drill into the soft plaster and get stuff everywhere. Give it a little tap in and then put the unit on the wall. I did make sure all these holes were level off camera before drilling them all, but I'm also using a level there just to double make sure that everything's nice, flat and level. And here is how the unit turned out. I really love it. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I'm not a drinker, so I'm using this just to store my perfumes and my smellies and stuff like that. But for a drinker, you could use this as a little bar, and if you don't drink, you can use that as a little desk if you live in a little dorm or something like that. The possibilities are endless with this thing, and I think it came out really well. I love the addition to it to my room, and it's something I might sell. But if I'm going to sell it again, I think I'll make a backboard for it because I'm not quite sure how I like the wallpaper showing through there. I think it would have looked better if I had a little bit of oak on the back. But yeah, this is meant to be a folding bar, but I don't drink, I don't have any alcohol on hand, so there it is. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. This build was a really, really nice, pleasant build. I think it came out really, really well. It's something I'm going to be using on the daily. And like I said, I don't drink, so it's filled up with smellies at the minute, but I'll catch you in the next one.